Assalamu alaikum. Let's learn DNA in 2 minutes. If we talk about the function of DNA, it is the longest biological molecule that enables the transmission of biological traits from parents to offspring. That is why it is called hereditary material, and it is present inside the nucleus of any living organism. If we talk about the structure of DNA, so DNA is basically built from the nucleotides, and in front of you is the figure for the nucleotide. It has 3 components: the nitrogenous base, the ribose sugar, and the phosphate group. If we more specifically talk about the nitrogenous base is attached to the carbon number 1 of pentose sugar, which is ribose, and phosphate group is attached to carbon number 5 of the ribose sugar. Now let's see in bit more detail how these nucleotides are connected to make a chain. If you see, the phosphate group is attached to the carbon number 5 in the first nucleotide, and the same phosphate group is attached to carbon number 3 of the second nucleotide. And now a bit more detail about the DNA structure. So basically DNA is made up of 2 chains of nucleotides that are anti-parallel to each other. If you see in the figure, in the left side of the chain, the ribose sugar are faced upward, and in the right side chain, the ribose sugar are faced downward. That is why it is anti-parallel. Now if we talk about the stability of the DNA structure, or how these 2 chains are held together, or how these 2 chains are connected with each other, and that is through hydrogen bonds between the nitrogenous bases of the opposite strands. If we see, the adenine of the one strand is making 2 hydrogen bonds with the thymine on the other strand, and same is the case. Cytosine always makes 3 hydrogen bonds with the guanine, and that is a rule. Adenine always pairs to form thymine to form 2 hydrogen bonds, and cytosine always pairs with guanine to form 3 hydrogen bonds. Also, we should know at this point that cytosine and thymine are called pyrimidines. These are single ring nitrogenous bases, and adenine and guanine are double ring nitrogenous bases, and these are called purines. If we talk about how DNA basically codes for the biological traits, so it is basically the sequence of these nitrogenous bases, as we can see in this figure: thymine, guanine, cytosine. So this specific sequence dictates for the specific sequence of amino acids present in the protein. This is how DNA codes information for the biological traits. At this point, we should also know the difference between DNA and RNA. DNA stands for deoxyribose nucleic acid. As you can see, the hydroxyl group of the carbon number 2 is replaced with the hydrogen atom. That is why it's deoxyribose, while in RNA, the oxyribose is present. Further, we discussed that DNA is a double-stranded molecule. However, RNA is a single-stranded molecule, which means RNA consists of only a single chain of nucleotides. And the last difference is, in DNA we have thymine, and while in RNA we have uracil. I hope that helps. Thank you. Do subscribe. Keep watching. Goodbye.